All right, everyone, it's time to pivot over to Germany. Link in the description, archived, of course. Normally speaking, if you had like a US state, so let's say that you were talking about people who are running for the State House of Representatives in New York or something like that, and six of them died in a 2 week period, well, 13 days, not even quite 2 weeks. Don't you think that there'd be a huge, thorough investigation and a hell of a lot of questions asked? I think so. So when the hated opposition party, which AfD in Germany does actually have that happen, just in Rhine, Westphalia, they had six different people, four actively running and two in reserve, and they all die within a 2 week period. I think that there are questions that probably should be asked. Now, supposedly, at least two of them have been registered as natural causes. I do not think so. If one of them coincidentally died over the same period of time of natural causes, that's always possible. Again, sometimes when you have an assassination spree, you can get some muddying of the waters. But statistically speaking, it's a little bit weird that in a fairly compact geographic zone, only members of a single political party, just out of pure coincidence, total happenstance, just drop dead over that period of time. I call bullshit. And AfD has been persecuted by the German government this whole time. They've been using exactly the same methodology, by the way, that led to the rise of the Nazi Party. Did you know that Adolf Hitler originally was a spy for the conservative movement to look in on what became the NSDAP at large, and then he decided they had the right ideas? Did you know that he was a spy for the establishment at first? Yeah, he was decorated, he was a courier, and stuff. One of the most dangerous jobs in World War One, actually. Ironically enough, actually, uh, served with quite a bit of valor. He was like, I don't give a shit if I live or die anyway, so, it's all good. Go ahead and shoot at me. Apparently, there was one case in which a British soldier probably had him in the sights dead to rights, but decided not to fire because he was effectively a non-combatant simply running mail at the time. Very strange stories. No clue if that's actually true or not. I'm hoping that it is because it'd be hysterical. Anyway, now leave it to the British, by the way. Leave it to the can-do attitude. Look at that man run. I'm not going to shoot him. He seems to be having a good time of it. Be funny. So this is assassination. This is not coincidence. They've been spying on AfD. They've been attempting to ban the party outright. They have been consistently censoring anything that they can about or from them. It's only natural that in their darkest hour, the uniparty there in Germany, and it is a bleak goddamn uniparty that they have in Germany. Keep in mind, there are European countries that are actually worse than that. And it's like you go from the Netherlands to Germany, you will notice the change. I'll explain that in a moment. Trust me, you will know when you've entered Germany, especially on that particular side of Germany. Probably a little bit less down in Bavaria. They just want to drink beer all day. I mean, that's every German, but you get the differentiation, I guess. This is assassination. This is exactly what they've resorted to. AfD has gone on a fairly monumental rise, politically speaking. Was nothing more than an afterthought not that many years ago. Now has become one of the major parties within Germany. Nobody really wants to work with them. This is what I told everyone would happen within Europe. You're getting a parsing. The old establishment is failing because it has failed everyone. So what you're getting is the rise of far left parties, communist movements, socialist movements, nationalistic movements like AfD, which isn't like, it's not an economically right-leaning party. I guess it'd be fairly standard for German socioeconomics. It's just more of an anti-immigration, we need to have a German culture kind of party, if that makes sense. Hey, we're German. We want Germany for Germans. It's pretty self-explanatory. We can work out the other finer details later. This kind of party in this particular era is definitely capable of doing very well. We've seen this. The MAGA movement, AfD, Brexit with UKIP and so forth, Javier Milei, Hungary, parties all over the world re-embracing some style of traditionalism. That's because, I mean, what else are you going to have? It's great to have a cosmopolitan culture sometimes. If I go to Amsterdam, I like the fact, for example, that there's a bunch of Asian shops and people from India and stuff like that. It's better food, certainly. They actually know how to use herbs and spices, unlike the Dutch for the most part, unless it happens to be mustard or black pepper. Just a joke. But yeah, the Dutch don't really. Yeah, they went halfway around the world to get spices and then never use them. Mm, breakfast of champions. Anyway, these are assassinations. There is no possibility in a million years that this many candidates from one single party in a relatively limited area all just croaked in a very short period of time. This is assassination, probably poisoning or something like that. The German government is extremely authoritarian. And like I said, you will notice the difference. Netherlands has its own problems, admittedly. You know, they had a Mark Rutte problem there for a while. Now he's all of Europe's problem, all of NATO's problem, which I find, and I'm just totally incredulous over that. But Netherlands, nice, beautiful, bright colors, lots of flowers everywhere. Then you go over to Germany. The parks are admittedly quite nice, but everything's just sort of darker and more dismal. It's just more depressive, and people are far, far more rude in Germany than they are in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, it's like, oh, good day to you, guten Tag, and stuff like that. In Germany, it's more like somebody in a huff, pushing past you on the street. It's happened on a number of occasions. Cool-looking chick, looked like she was probably like a model or went to art school or something like that. Just huffs and puffs and just like pulls on past me. I'm like, what? It's never happened in the Netherlands. Just saying. No, Germany has suffered a series of assassinations. Let's just call a spade a spade. This does not happen by coincidence. These are politically motivated assassinations of people running for Alternative for Deutschland. This was on purpose. This was inflicted death. And it'll be like 30 years from now, maybe you'll get evidence that that's actually the case. Actually the case, but it doesn't take a goddamn genius to realize that's what happened in this particular instances. That's about all. Peace out.